Today I'm going to take you along for the day in my business and show you some things that I do throughout the day to just make my business simpler, how I organize things, how I simplify things, and how I just get things done quicker as I'm going through the day and running my business. So come along for the day with me. I'm going to show you 7 things that I do just to make running my business easier, and these are things that you can include straight away in your days to literally save you hours and help you get so much more done in your business. So let's jump in. So this might surprise you, but one of the very first things I do in my day every single day in my business is a sales action. So I really focus, I really prioritize. If you've seen any other videos of mine, you know this about me. I really prioritize sales actions, and I think they are so important because typically we'll spend so much time marketing, but we won't spend any time actually talking about sales and actually selling our offers. So I have specifically a sales log, which I will pull up and show you. I have this sales log where I will essentially track the sales actions which I did each day, and this is so helpful. I use this hack to actually make sure I am showing up and selling in my business, because this is a little accountability document for me essentially. So this is in my notes app, and I will go through this, and every single weekday I will put in the sales action that I have taken so I can see what sales action did I take. I'll also put in any wins that happened. Have I reached this number of people signed up on this masterclass? Did this client sign up? I booked a discovery call, all those things. And it's just such a great way to build momentum. It makes it really easy for me to just keep going through the days and doing those sales actions when I'm not seeing the results yet. If I can see this document, I can see how much has actually happened in just the first half of this month so far, just from this document. So that is huge for me. Now, the reason why I always start my day with this is I think this is typically the action that people tend to avoid, maybe because it feels a little bit more uncomfortable reaching out to that lead, following back up with that person, planning that discovery call. We'll naturally tend to avoid these actions, but these are literally the things that grow your business and move it forward. So I always like to spend about half an hour in the mornings on a sales action, so I actually know that my business has been very tangibly moved forward before I jump into working with my clients, then before I jump into anything on the back end that isn't really moving me forward, generating revenue in that moment. I'm really making sure I prioritize this. So I always start my day with that. Always start with this sales log and with filling that out, and it helps keep me so accountable and really keep the momentum going there. Now, a second thing I will always make sure I do is I have a very specific document on my notes app as well called Ideas and Inspiration, and this is an absolute game changer because as I'm just going throughout the day, I will constantly be adding new ideas, thoughts on, oh, I could reach out to this person. Oh, I could do this. This would be really fun for a masterclass. This could be a good piece of content. I'm constantly getting ideas, and if you're also a business owner, you know that. Ideas are coming all the time. So I have a specific document called Ideas and Inspiration, and I will go into here and I will essentially just add any new ideas which are coming up. So I will just go in and type them. This is split inside this document of different ideas, whether they are more content and marketing focused or more strategic, as in I want to launch this or I want to run this masterclass, versus here's an idea for a piece of content. I will split up the document like that, but essentially I will just dump all of my ideas in here. Every single idea that comes up, no matter how good or bad I think it is in the moment, I'll just drop it in there. And then each Friday I will go through and review all of these things and decide, okay, what do I want to do with this? So at that point, it is a complete brain dump. It is just a pure mess in there. I will decide, okay, do I want to action any of these pieces? Are some of these, okay, this needs a bit of development? Are some of them, this is not a right now thing, but it's a could do later, in which case I'll go all the way to the bottom of the list as just a, if I ever run out of any other ideas, then I'll maybe do those things, but it's not a priority. So I'll essentially then go through and actually categorize and organize so it doesn't end up this huge never-ending list. I will essentially just build it up throughout the week, and then on Fridays I'll sort and organize and put all the things wherever they're needing to go. Now, after I've just gone through and done all of my client messages, responded to all of my clients, today I'm doing some content. So then I turn over to my content bank where I will specifically keep all of my content all nice and organized here. So I will show you what this looks like on the screen, but essentially here I will put all of my content, and I organize this all based on types of posts, based on when I last posted it. I will use different sections based on what there is in terms of, was it a carousel post, video, etc. But this makes it so easy for me to just repurpose some content. So typically at the moment I'm pulling out about 1 repurpose post a week. So I'll just go in and I'll pull out my post from there. So I save all of my good pieces of content, the ones that I feel did really well and I really liked and really represent my brand, what I'm wanting to talk about, I'll save those in there so then I can just go ahead and pull those out whenever I'm wanting to as well. And then secondly, when I'm going to actually create some new content and when I'm writing new pieces, I will actually go in and use a Google Doc to write all my pieces of content, because they have a tabs feature now, which they introduced, I think it was a month or two ago. It is an absolute game changer. It's so nice. So I'll use different tabs to write the pieces of content now, and then I'll use an emoji to signal, is it done? Am I still writing it? Is this just an idea, etc. But that's really helpful as well for allowing me to go in and write those pieces of content, know when they're fully complete, so I can copy them over to the different platforms and put them over there as well. Now, the fourth thing that I do to just simplify how I do everything in my business is honestly utilizing ChatGPT for brainstorming. Now, I find this is the most helpful for me of saying, okay, here is my brain dump of ideas. Here's everything that I'm wanting to say in this post, in this email. Can you word this for me, essentially, and pull all of this together into nice wording? And I want to use this specific tone. I think it's really helpful for giving it, the exact tone that you're looking for. So whether it's, I want to be really warm, I want to focus on storytelling in this post, I want this to be very persuasive because I'm selling something, any of those specific pieces I'll add in, but I'll essentially just ask ChatGPT, okay, can you word this for me, in terms of pulling this all together and polishing it up. And it's so helpful for that, because that usually takes a little bit of time kind of getting those final polishing pieces done. And then of course I can go in after that and kind of just finish up any pieces, change any odd bits of wording to make it how I would use it. I'll also sometimes, if it's a post where I would use emojis, say, okay, here are the emojis that I'll typically utilize, and send, my normal emojis that I would typically use, and then it can sprinkle those in as well throughout. So it very much sounds like me, and it's still my way of speaking and communicating. So it's really helpful for me to utilize that, because it just saves me so much time in terms of not coming up with the ideas, because I come up with them ahead of time, but actually figuring out, okay, how am I going to exactly word this? What's the exact sentence going to be here? It's so helpful for coming up with that. So I'll utilize that there, and I think that can be a really helpful thing to utilize just for any problem that you're getting stuck on throughout the day as well. So I'll very much pull up ChatGPT if I'm ever getting stuck on a specific problem, if something's just taking me too long to figure out how do I want to go about this launch, what email do I want to write for this, anything that's just taking me a little bit too long and it feels like, okay, I'm getting stuck here a little bit, I'll pull up ChatGPT and utilize that there. Now, a fifth way that I make it so easy and simple just to run my business on the daily basis is making it really easy to get leads. I sprinkle next steps everywhere for people. I make it so easy for people to just take a next step in my business. Perfect example, just logged in to check the signups for my latest masterclass, which is coming next week, and just overnight, while I haven't been doing anything, just from the pieces that I'd already put out, the next steps I already had in place, I had 5 people sign up for the masterclass and 1 person as well come across my freebie as well, just on my website. So again, it's so helpful to really think about, okay, how can I have a next step just sprinkled across everywhere in my business, so it's easy for people to take a next step, sign up for a thing, register their interest for something, take any next action, essentially do any lead generation activity, and just put up their hand to let you know that they are interested in working with you, an ideal client in some way. It is so helpful to just build that into your business, where you're really thinking about, okay, how can I add in and sprinkle in as many of these next steps as possible? Because again, it makes it really easy for things like that to happen then. So it makes it easy for me to go and find out that we now just have 1 free spot left, and I've just had to update that instead of 6, because the links are sprinkled everywhere, so it's really easy for people to find that. Now, a 6th one that I would actually add in as well, slightly going off of that note, is to take action kind of fast and kind of messy. This masterclass, for example, you can see the sign up page on the screen here right now. I came up with the idea with this, I think about 3 days before I created this, and I started posting about it, and that was only 3 days ago. So it was only 6 days ago that I came up with even the concept of this, even the idea, let alone actually now we have 13 people signed up. I only put it out a few days ago. So actually just taking action very quickly. And for me, for example, it is the 17th of January as I'm filming this. And for me, I've already put out 2 freebies this month, and collectively between the 2 of them, we've had about 25 people sign up for these 2 freebies. I haven't promoted them a huge amount. It's only been 15 days, not even working days of the month, but just taking action fast of, okay, coming up with an idea. In that ideas document, as soon as I'm coming up with an idea, I'm taking action on it pretty quickly, because it's then so easy for me to actually see, is this a good decision? Is this something which is going to be useful? Is this something which is going to get me results? You just find out faster. There's only so much you can figure out while you're in your head about it, essentially, and while you're thinking about it. We can't know if it's going to work unless we just put it out there. So actually putting it out there and seeing, with this masterclass, I made the most really simple, basic sign up page and just put that out there and just see what the response is. And then we've had 13 people sign up. So clearly people really enjoy it. People love the concept of that. So again, I can see it's just got validated very quickly. I can see that people really want to sign up for that and go to a masterclass like that. So actually just putting things out quicker means that yes, of course, you're gonna have the failure rate increase and have more things that people aren't as interested in and just don't go as well. And also the things that do go well are gonna happen so much more frequently for you. It's just gonna get you so many more results just by you taking that extra piece of action as well. So actually taking action messy and just putting the idea out there. And again, I think with the ideas document, that's why it's so helpful. I review that every Friday because I'm really then actually actioning those things that I want to action and putting them into the calendar for the next week. They're in the schedule already of I'm going to be working on those things and putting out those things. So it allows me to just take action really quickly on those ideas. And then as I'm wrapping up today, one of the final things I did was actually going over to my Instagram stories and talking about my one-to-one program. So actually promoting that and selling my one-to-one program on Instagram stories. I'll insert a picture of what I posted here, but actually talking about this program as well is something that's obviously really important, actually talking about that and sharing about this program, selling this program, as well as all the freebies, everything like that. And one way that I make that so easy is having a copy blueprint that means I can essentially just plug and play certain phrasing that I've already figured out for my program. I think the worst thing, the hardest thing possible is when you are staring at a blank document and you're thinking, okay, what do I want to say? I need to talk about my program today. I want to promote this offer. What do I want to say? And we're just staring at this blank document versus actually having some copy written up ahead of time, talking about what is your client struggling with, talking about what do you help people do inside this, talking about what is the tagline for this program even. All of those pieces I have written out ahead of time, so it's really easy for me to talk about those programs because most of the wording is already written. It also means my messaging is really consistent because I'm literally plugging and playing, copy and pasting the same wording every single time I'm talking about it. So actually having this copy written up ahead of time can be so helpful for making sure you're actually saying what you want to say, getting across the right messaging, and also just saving you time from just rethinking and reinventing the wheel every single time you're wanting to say anything about your offers. So those are 7 things I do and utilize every single day in my business to save me so much time and just make it so much easier and simpler for me to actually run my business. So let me know in the comments which one you found most helpful, and make sure you give this a like if you would like to see more of just how I run my business and what that looks like and the things I do every single day to make it so much simpler. Make sure you subscribe as well so you don't miss the next video coming out every single Monday, and I will see you in the next video.